Hello, good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are. I am welcoming you again to Cricket Chat YouTube channel. As you're all aware, Cricket Chat, we usually discuss matters to do with cricket, mostly Kenyan cricket. And as you are aware, we are currently hosting a tournament between three countries, four countries, sorry, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda and Botswana, and by the virtue of coming to the venue, I've managed to bump into somebody who has recently joined Cricket Kenya, and we are just going to share a few moments with him. He's going to tell us what he has been up to and what has happened in Cricket Kenya since he joined him. So he's just going to introduce himself and we'll take it from there. Welcome, son. Probably if you could tell us your name and your role at Cricket Kenya.
Thank you. My name is Ronald Bukusi, and I am the new CEO to Cricket Kenya. Started out in January, last week of January this year. To date, right now. I don't know, you want me to talk about my background and stuff?
Yeah, probably if you could give us a background, because maybe those that something fun with cricket is that people think that we should be knowing who is winning cricket.
Okay.
So maybe if you let us know your background so that people following Kenyan cricket should be able to know you more.
Okay, I've been in sports administration for more than 25 years or so. I've worked in I used to run Nyayo National Stadium a very long time ago. I was the stadium manager there. I worked at the National Sports Council. That was the first job I got when I left school. And over the years, I've done a lot of sports event management. Worked with the Commonwealth Games. I set up the Kenya Rugby Union Secretariat when it first started many years ago. And then I left and went to the States, and I worked there in corporate team development. But I did a lot of sports management as well. I trained in that. I coached women's rugby teams, men's rugby teams as well. Actually, I developed a passion for women's sports around that time. And then it was time to come back home, and Cricket Kenya advertised for a position, and I applied for it, and here I am.
Oh. So in short, from whatever I've just said, it seems like you've got a very big, good background as far as sports management of sport is concerned.
Yeah, sports management is sports management. It doesn't matter what sport it is. So I'm learning a lot of the intrigues of cricket right now. But generally, it's just understanding the product that is. So that's where I am.
Since January, let's say it's in February.
Right.
Now we are towards the end of June.
Right.
Those maybe about 5 months now you've been at Cricket Kenya as the CEO. How has it been? Running a sports that there's been a lot of expectation from people, but things haven't been going as would like them to be. So getting to that organization and finding the things that how the things have been, how has it been for you?
It's been an interesting challenge, because you walk into a place, into an organization, and you have certain expectations as to how things are. Our biggest challenge right now is developing governance structures. I think, and that's a big thing that I'm very big on. If we have our governance structures, then life will be a lot easier. You're, I suppose, aware of the various challenges Kenya cricket has had over the last 5, 6, 7 years. There was the almost disbandment of, Kenya KCA, Kenya Cricket Association.
Yes.
And then the normalization committee came in, and then now Cricket Kenya, it rebranded as Cricket Kenya. I showed up, and we were on notice by the ICC. So we didn't have any funding. We weren't able to pay for an office and stuff. So it was like landing and then told, okay, here's your job, start.
And you don't know where to start.
And you don't know where to start. So for the past 4 months, I've been working out of my house. I've met the staff. Thankfully, there are people who they were willing to work. So we have started putting structures into place, governance structures that would help us manage the game better. and try and achieve all the criteria that ICC set out for us, membership criteria, and have various codes and a constitution, proper organogram, so the diagrams are very clear of who's responsible for what, the roles are very clear, an anti-corruption code, ethics code, plus some of the recommendations that were that were brought out during the normalization committee's interaction with various stakeholders. So putting all that together to try and get our act together, and then at the same time we have to be playing cricket.
Yeah.
Right, as you're doing the governance administration stuff, people still
the game
want
has to be played.
The game has to be played, so you have to find a way to play cricket. And right now, the tournament we have with these three other countries, plus ourselves, so 4, is the apex of where we are. I think the last time we had a tournament like this was about 6 or 7 years
It was
where we had
it's long
nations.
since we had 4 teams coming to play.
So it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
And we need to have many more such games. So one of the things we actually have planned for is there are a couple more tournaments coming up in August. One in Rwanda, I think one is in South Africa, and then we have an incoming tour in November from the MCC in the UK.
Yes.
And then we have the qualifier in December, the ICC qualifier in December in Namibia. And then if we jump into next year, 2024, we have a proposed tour from Guernsey, that's in the UK, and a few more things down the road. So we've got to be able to play consistently for us to improve our game and hopefully bring it back to where it was. And then we have a development program that we'd like to roll out.
Yeah.
So this coming week, actually, we're going to have a bit of a strategy meeting with various stakeholders in terms of what do they want us to do
As far as development is concerned.
And what we would like to be able to achieve. At the same time, we have to manage our membership criteria, and that's required of us by the ICC.
Yes.
Fortunately, we managed to achieve some of that. So in the past week, we received some money from the ICC to enable us to sort of kickstart our process. Now, this money is actually for specific purposes. So, one of the problems we experience is when we get money, our plans go out of the window.
Yes.
And the first thing we think of is, maybe I need to buy a new cow, or maybe build a house or something. But it's very strict. It's under a thing they call controlled funding. And that's as a result of the history that we have. So they give us money for a particular period of time, and we have
Will you be capable of just telling us actually what this man needs to be going to, so that we are clear? If somebody comes and says that this man was given and we didn't utilize it as supposed to be how you're supposed to use it, it will be on record. So maybe if you could just tell us that.
They actually audit it themselves.
Yeah.
So we had to prepare a budget. We had a historical debt. Right?
Yeah.
So they give us money to pay off the historical
Which also
debt.
We had coaches that are really coaches want to be paid.
We had people who needed to be paid, we had rent that needed to be paid, we had suppliers who needed to be paid. So they came first, and we went through a whole process. And they looked at our books and said, okay, so you owe rent for so much.
Yes.
Where's the evidence? So you owe somebody so much. Where's the evidence? So this supplier is claiming that you owe them so much. Where's the evidence?
Yes.
So they went through all that physically. Then they say, okay, your historical debt is X amount.
Yes.
Right? Now, what is your projection for the next 3 months? You say you want to do this development program. You say you want to do this. Let's cost it out together. Right? So we went through that process, and back and forth. And then they say, fine, we're going to give you this money for the next 3 months. These are the things that you need to do. And they're going to come back again in July
to see what you've done with the money.
So, did you pay your historical debt?
Have you done the program that you have talked about?
And these programs you said you were going to do,
how far have you reached?
What have you done with them? And so has the money been allocated to where it is? Now we're on that program for the next 1 year, right? So it's until January 2024, end of January 2024. That is when, hopefully, if we've got our structures in place, then they will say, okay, here's your money, now you're trusted, off you go, and they take us off
The
controlled funding.
Okay.
So that's what the money is for. We can't deviate from that.
To other activities.
Yes. So, yes, there's money, but the money has a specific purpose. And if we deviate from that, it stopped once again. It stopped once again.
Okay. That actually, sincerely speaking, you've been so open to that, because there is something that many will have doubted. Because if you tell somebody that there is no money in Cricket Kenya, there was a lot of doubt. And also, I've just had somebody, one of the guys from the media, asking how much money came from. That's something, not something that I'd like to engage you into, us saying, giving us the amount that was is coming from ICC. With that, it just tells us that we still, as Cricket Kenya, we still don't have enough money to run our activities. Because if I say that, because ICC has not been able to release money to us, we've not had activities going on. We've not had coaches going in schools. We've not seen the development. We've seen cricket struggling. So this now makes us ask another question, whereby, have we tried out to get money from corporates, getting sponsors to come into cricket? And how far have we reached with that? Because we cannot be depending on ICC to give us money.
To fund everything.
Yeah,
that
today
we're
if they
doing.
say that actually, okay, we are going to give you money, but we are cutting from, we are giving you $1 million, but from next year we are giving you $10,000. Does it mean there will be no cricket? So how far have you reached in trying to find a way that are going to help our cricket, not through ICC only?
The truth about that is everything is we are responsible for our success or our failure,
Yes.
right? And another truth is Cricket Kenya does not have a good reputation. You see, ICC is giving us controlled funding. Here's money, but we want to see what you're going to use it on. Now, if you take the same principle and go to a corporate and you tell them, can you give me 2 million shillings? And then he says, what are you going to use it on? Right? Or the corporate says, but you guys are always calling each other names in the paper, right? I do not want my brand
To be
associated with that.
Yes.
So the first thing we've got to do is clean up our own
Our
act.
mess.
Na kama tunapigana, let's fight behind the scenes, but we don't bring it out into the open so that potential sponsors can see, because they're sitting here in the stands.
I've seen some were
You see?
just watching the match and
Yes.
have come all the way from Uganda.
Yes, they're sitting here in the stands. So he hears us fighting in public.
He start
And then I go to him the next day and I say, here's a proposal, can you sponsor
2
me?
million.
And he says, no. I saw you abusing each other, and I cannot have my name being sullied in the press because of that. So it's going to be difficult. So we are trying to make amends, but we have to clean up ourselves first. I'm not saying we cannot have differences.
Of course, there are some.
Right?
There are-
We will always
there
have
are-
differences
yes.
of opinion, but then we've also got to keep it in house so that once we come out, we can play. I mean, we need to find sponsors for our women's programs. We've got to find sponsors for our men's programs.
Junior programs.
We've got to find sponsors for junior programs, right? And that's what my job is supposed to be: go out and look for money, right? But the first thing you do when you go out and look for money, that's what somebody tells you. He says, "I was reading in the newspaper the other day." What do I tell him? That no, we were just joking.
Yes.
You see.
You can't tell him that.
So we're trying. We're also approaching the government for help, for support. So last year, I think they supported the women's team going into Kwibuka.
Yes.
Right? This year, we're trying to get the same support as well, and also for our under-19s team, which is preparing for the World Cup qualifier
qualifiers.
in July in Tanzania. Now we've got a plan to try and see if they can go and practice in India. Try and get some government support. So right now, our two biggest supporters, I guess, would be the government and then ICC. Now, once we get that act together, I can now go to a corporate and say, can you sponsor this particular organization? Like, I was looking at our umpires and wondering, what if I talked to somebody and asked them, can you sponsor our umpires association for the games that they'll be doing? It's a small start, but it starts somewhere.
Yeah.
Or can you sponsor a schools program? Can you sponsor a regional program elsewhere? But my work is cut out for me if I spend time putting out fires, right?
Yeah.
Before making any progress anywhere else.
So your advice will be to cricket Kenya stakeholders, that's people that play cricket, the fans. What will be your advice as far as these issues that we're talking about are concerned?
There are always going to be problems, sure. State the problem, give us a solution. Let's talk about it, right? And come to something that is workable for all of us. You see? So don't just say there's a problem. Tell me there's a problem.
Find a solution.
Come and offer me a solution. Now, we may not agree on the solution, but we will have heard what your thoughts are. And then we can put it together with whatever plans we have, right? And see if it works. And that way, the thing is, it's got to be participatory, right? I don't want you to feel that you're just telling me what to do, but we're having a conversation. So you also feel that, you see that idea they have? That was mine, right? They've incorporated it. You feel so much better, right? That you're part of building the program once again. One challenge we have is we keep thinking of 20 years ago.
What happened
when we beat West Indies, when we get to the semi-final of the World Cup, and we are living. Living in the past. We've got to kill that dream. Yes. That ghost has to be exorcised completely, and say the reality is, here is where we are. Right? Here is where we are. We can move forward from here. It's a slow journey, like a slow boiling pot. So it's a slow journey, but we can become better for it, I believe, in the long run.
I'm sure you've got time for your contract.
Yes.
2 years, 1 year?
3 years.
3 years contract. As you get to 1.5 years of your program, where would you like to see our cricket?
That's in the year, at the end of next year, basically. You're saying basically end of next year. I'd like a solid, proper governance structures. Governance structures are always changing. So proper governance structures. I would like us to have programs running in schools.
Yes.
Right? That's where our players come from. So can we engage the development coaches as much as possible and have these programs running in schools? We need more coaches. Much as we might focus on getting numbers as players, better coaches make better players.
Yes.
So we've got to get better coaches so that the kids coming through actually have the fundamentals, right? As opposed to coming through, getting to a national level, and then I have to teach you some of the fundamentals. So if we had better coaches, and many of them, in the schools, on the ground, then a lot more cricket is played, right? What that also does, the knock-on effect of that is, it also cleans up our act. Because now, when cricket is being played, okay, let me put it this way. A good administrator is like an umpire. When you have a good umpire, nobody talks about him or her. They talk about the game.
The game, yes.
Right?
Yes.
When you have a bad umpire,
they'll forget about the game, they'll talk about them.
Everybody talks about the umpire.
Yes,
this is the umpire this, the umpire that, the umpire this. Nobody talks about the game. I'd like us to be that good umpire. So that when people see us coming, they don't, like when there's a good umpire on the field, when you see the guy showing up, you say, today we'll have a good game. Everybody knows we'll have a good game. The umpire is strict, but it's fair. The umpire knows the rules, everything. There are other umpires who show up and you hold your head and you say, oh God, today, let's just play.
Let's just play for the sake of, because we are here.
Because we're here, let's just play. We don't want to be that one. We want to be the good umpire that nobody talks about. But in the background, that umpire ensures that the game is played and the focus is the game. It's got to be cricket. It cannot be me, right? It cannot be the chairman. It cannot be the board. It has to be the game. If we can do that, then we'll be well on track.
Yeah. As we've wound up, last question, sir. It has to do with our cricket outside the national team, and this is clubs. I find that you've mentioned that the national good players come through from schools. Players come from schools. Cricket is not like football where you are going to see people playing in the estates. No, they come through schools, and these schools, they go to these kids after school. We expect them to play for clubs before they get to the national team. But maybe you are aware that Kenyan cricket is dominated by clubs. Cricket Kenya has never been able to run local domestic competitions. And then we've got Nairobi Cricket Association, NPCA, as the only association that runs what we'll say like strong league, strong domestic competition. They've got their 50 overs, they've got their 2020 tournaments, they've been having their 50 overs knockout. How will you wish, or how will you want Cricket Kenya to run with the Nairobi Provincial Cricket Association? I'm not talking about the counties, because there's a different story about the new counties that are in Cricket Kenya now. We are talking about NPCA, because if you look at the bulk of all the players that are playing for Kenya at the moment, they all come from clubs from NPCA league. So how will you want you or Cricket Kenya board to run with NPCA, to work with NPCA?
Okay, the way our constitution is structured, the leagues are actually run by the branches, not by the national office.
Okay.
What we've got to do at Cricket Kenya, from what I see, what I learned, is we have to try and develop pathways, right? So that we can have provincial competitions, right? And then we come in at the tail end of it, where we now have a national competition. And hopefully we start having club competitions, provincial competitions from the regions, building up to playing into a national competition. At that point, the best players, right, from the provinces are the ones who are playing in the national competition. So your selection to the national team is a lot easier and it's a lot broader. So if you're picked from a club straight into the national team, it means you must be an outlier. You must be somebody who's really, really exceptional. Otherwise, you have to come through that pathway. That's one of the challenges we have. I would suspect that a lot of cricket is played in Nairobi simply because maybe we don't have the facilities outside, right? Or it's a lot, there's more cricket played here. Our vision would be to spread the game as much as possible, right? So that cricket is played out in the provinces, have provincial competitions, because we can't run everything. The province has to be responsible for something, right? And at that point in time, should we develop that, then you stop having players leaving wherever they come from, because the only place he can play cricket is Nairobi. There needs to be a competitive competition out there as well. Now those counties or those provinces are going to need support, right? They're going to need support. And that is where we would come in and say, let's see how we can support these guys, raise the funding to run their own competition. See? But then again, you see, it goes back to us calling each other names in the papers. Right? So I can't help you raise money for you, right?
If you're calling me,
if you're calling us names, we're calling each other names, nobody's going to come and help. But there are companies, I imagine, in the counties or in the provinces that would be able to support.
They'll share themselves with that.
Associate there, because it has more meaning for them there as opposed to supporting a national competition where you're lost in the middle of so many different things. Nairobi just happens to be the commercial capital, it is the political capital, it is the administrative capital of everything that we have. So if we're talking devolution, we actually need to devolve these services and have provincial tournaments and bring it up. But then that is going to take time. It is not going to happen in 3 months. It's not going to happen in 4 months. Because also, I have to bring you round to my way of thinking. And I have to understand your way of thinking. And then let's see if we can marry the two.
Yes, sincerely speaking, what you've just said is something that we all hope that is going to happen. But it will take time. It will take time to have those counties away apart from Nairobi, Mombasa, and probably Nakuru. It will take time for them to get into what you are thinking. But before that, how are we likely to support? How are we going to work to make sure that things are moving well, and then PCA feel like they are being helped by the association? Because if you say that we're going to wait to come up with a county-based tournament, it will take ages.
MPCA wrote to me last week and asked for a meeting. I said, we're trying to get through this. Once we're done with this, we'll sit down, we'll have a chat. The best answer I can give you for that is we need to meet and talk. Right? I don't have any answers. Right? And I've only been here, 3-4 months, so I'm not going to be able to tell you this is the magic bullet we're going to take. They have their presentation, they have their views.
They'll
Let's
share with you,
listen.
yeah.
I share, this is what we think at a national level. And let's see if we can come together, right? At the end of the day, it's got to be cricket.
Of course.
That's my view.
I just hope that, as you say, the meeting will be productive, so that what we need to see, we just need to see the game being played. And as you said, from the conversation I've just had with you, I just feel that you are there for the game. And on behalf of cricket chat viewers and those people that follow Kenyan cricket keenly, I just wish you all the best and hope that come towards the end of your contract will have something to be proud of, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate the voice of support that you've given me. I'm not a political animal, right? Some of the things you may think I might do are political, they're not.
Yeah.
My focus is let's play the game.
Yeah.
And if the game can be played, that's fine.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to talk to me, please call me, come see me. Hopefully we're going to open our office in the next...
Waraka.
Yes.
Because I was being told that you people are working from... You mentioned that you work in the house.
Everybody's been working out of the house. But because we got this money now, with this historical debt, one of the key things of that historical debt was pay your rent.
Pay your rent.
Pay your outstanding rent so they can open the office and then we can have a place to sit. See, right now, you have to meet me in,
I'm just hoping that the next interview you're going to have very soon,
right,
it will be in your
and that's one of our main
office.
Priorities. Hopefully this week we can pay off that money and open the office. It's been locked since May 2020. Those are 3 years. So we need to air it.
It's long.
And sit down and have an office to work in. And everybody's welcome to show up whenever they want. I always am keen to listen to ideas. I'm for the game. Ultimately, it's the game that matters to me.
Because as you said, you don't want to be that umpire.
No.
So that if we see the wrong things, we see as the CEO is the one who made us get to this level.
Right.
So as I said, I just hope that you're going to have a good time at Cricket Kenya. You're going to bring that impact that will remember you for that. So thanks so much for the time. And as I said, I wish you all the best and we'll catch up.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you viewers. That was the new Cricket Kenya CEO, who just sharing his plans, his hopes, his ambitions, and everything positive that he'd like to live at Cricket Kenya. So for those that have not known our CEO, you are here with him, and he shared, actually, that was a very good conversation, one that I didn't expect to end the way it was. Otherwise, until next time, thank you very much and see you in our next video. Asanteni and all the best.
Thank you.